Welcome to Hypothesis of Human Eye and Colourful World. Now I have written some 6 hypothetical questions from Human Eye and Colourful World. The first one is what would happen if scattering does not take place. Second one is what could happen if dispersion does not take place. Third one is what could happen if iris does not perform its work. Fourth one is what could happen if ciliary muscles do not perform accommodation. The fifth one is what could happen if biconcave lens is used for hypermetropia. Then the sixth one is what could happen if biconvex lens is used for correcting myopia. Now you should understand that hypothesis questions are very important for board exams. They carry 2 marks. 2 marks are very important, very important. 2 marks play a great role. Now the first one is what would happen if scattering does not take place? First of all, you should know what is scattering, re-emission of light. Right? Atmosphere consists of nitrogen and oxygen molecules. When light falls on this, they tremble depending upon their size. If the size is more, they shake less. If the size is less, they shake more. In this process, they re-emit some amount of energy. The re-emitted light has a wavelength equal to the wavelength of blue color. That is the reason sky appears blue. Now mornings and evenings are red in color. The reason is what? Morning and evening scattering is take place. All the colors are emitted there. But red has got some quality like less deviation, less energy loss. So I put it like this. But opposite one is inversely proportional to wavelength. Red has more wavelength, less energy loss. So energy is not wasted. So it directly straight away it moves forward because it is not spreading to waste its energy. And its deviation is also less, very less. Therefore it does not take any other deviation. Straight away it reaches the observer. Other colors get vanished. Therefore what all I said, we'll miss all this. So we may not see mornings and evenings red in color. Right? They may simply appear white in color. And as I told you, sky appears blue in color. We may not see all this. Sky and ocean may simply appear black in color if scattering does not take place. That is first one. Coming to the second one, what would happen if dispersion of light does not take place? First of all, we should know what is dispersion. One light ray is splitting into 7 colors. BVR, violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange and red. Now if dispersion does not take place, you may lose the beauty of this world. You may not come across rainbow formation. And if you find oil drops on the road and there is availability of water, we find rainbow, all different 7 different colors. You may miss that one. The other thing is what? If suppose somebody is washing clothes, so we find bubbles, soap bubbles, and when light falls on these soap bubbles, we find all these 7 colors emitted. We may miss this one. So we may miss the beautiful 7 colors from this world if dispersion does not take place. Next, coming to what would happen if iris does not perform its work. Yes, exactly. This is eye and this is a lens. And in the middle of the lens there is aperture, a small opening that is called as pupil. Opening in the sense not exactly the open one. It allows light to enter into the eye and create an image on the retina. Now who looks after this pupil? The adjustment of this pupil size, increasing or decreasing of this size is done by iris. So if you happen to play outside in the sun where large quantity of light is available, so automatically iris decreases the size of pupil according to the availability of the light. And suddenly if you come with the same size of the pupil into a room, so if sufficient amount of light is not available, for a fraction of seconds we find it is dim because that amount of light is not enough to create an image on the retina. Therefore iris takes some time to increase the size of the pupil. When size of the pupil is increased, more amount of light will enter and create an image on the retina. So what happens if iris does not perform its work? Then these things will happen. If you are outside with the less size of the pupil and happen to come into a room and suddenly iris does not perform that work, then you may not see objects clearly in the room. You are in the room where sufficient amount of light is not there. Therefore, iris has increased the size of pupil. And imagine with the same increased size of pupil, you happen to go out to play. Then what happens? Your eye retina will get spoiled because iris is not perform its work to bring the size of the pupil down when you are outside in the ground. So, if iris does not perform its work, it is difficult for eye. Then coming to ciliary muscles. Ciliary muscles very important. As I told you, they do the work of accommodation, increasing or decreasing the size of changing the focal length inside the eye. That is called accommodation. That work is called accommodation. For what? To see a near object and far object. Since you know this concept, you can write the opposite of that one. If ciliary muscles do not perform the work, then what happens? You may not be able to see far object and near object clearly. The reason is what? Accommodation is not taking place. What do you mean by accommodation? Adjustment of the focal length. Coming to very important is about what would happen if a biconcave is given to hypermetropia. Actually, what hypermetropia person is given by convex lens for correction. And actually myopia patient is given by concave lens as correction. What does a convex lens do? Convex lens converges the light. What does a concave lens do? Diverges the light. Now what is happening? I will just show you myopia defect part. This is myopia, human eye, myopia, LDDV. Myopia person can see object which is near. He cannot see object which is far. Far means we draw like this. So what is happening? Image is falling before retina. Now you tell me, convex converges, concave diverges. So the perfect lens is what? Cave. So that this point is sent back onto the retina. It has to be pushed back. This does. Now he is saying what happens if you give a convex. If you give convex, what happens? This intersecting point will be somewhere here. So person cannot see our image clearly. The other thing is what? He will get strain. He'll find it. He will not find comfortable. All this will happen. Now the same thing with the sixth one. What would happen if biconvex lens is given to myopia? Now, so I explained you about myopia only. Now the opposite is fifth one, the opposite one. Okay. What happens if my concave is given to hypermetropia? So hypermetropia. Person who is suffering with hypermetropia, he can see object which is far. He cannot see object which is near object. Okay, he cannot see object which is near. See, it's going beyond retina. Now you see, what can a concave mirror do? It will diverge. So already it is diverged. Somewhere it is falling. So it should be converged. The perfect lens is what for hypermetropia? Convex. Now he is asking you what would happen if concave is given. Still, if concave is given, he cannot see the image clearly because image will never form on retina. So you cannot see object which is nearer, farer, nothing. And eye strain and the discomfort, all this will exist. So try to understand. The perfect lens for myopia is this one, concave, and the perfect lens for hypermetropia is convex. If you are giving opposite one, opposite things will happen. Thank you.